lawyer's project, as I said, that converting those inferred ounces was really positive, and it should have a good impact on the PFS.
Welcome to those tuning in to day 2 of our London Mining Investment event, where we've managed to catch a minute with Ewan Webster, President, CEO and Director of Thesis Gold. Welcome.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, nice to be here.
So it's actually been a little while since we caught up on the Assay, and just for anyone that's not familiar, can you give us a recap to the company?
Sure. Thesis is focused on our advanced stage exploration development Lawyers Ranch project in north central British Columbia in Canada. It is a gold-silver epithermal deposit in the historic Toodoggone Mining District. So great infrastructure in place. It's effectively a brownfield development site. And earlier this year, we put out a new resource on the project of 4.7 million ounces, and we followed that up with a PEA in early September this year as well, with some very strong project economics. So 2024 was a pretty transformative year for Thesis Gold. And we're now moving through into 2025 with some major milestones coming up as well. We're heading towards PFS and permitting.
And we will get into that.
Yeah.
Firstly, let's look at some of the assays. So you recently announced some for your Lawyers Ranch project. Was this a strategically focused drill program? Can you talk us through some of the approach that you took?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we completed about 10,000 meters of drilling this summer, and it was split between the Lawyers project and the Ranch project. And at Lawyers, it was really focused on converting some inferred ounces to measured and indicated. They were deeper holes targeting what will be essentially the underground component of the deposit. And those were very successful. The mineralization is very predictable. We had, as expected, the grades were good. I think the headline hole in that press release was about 8.5 meters of 11 grams. And then on the Ranch project, about 5,000 meters again, and it was split between targeting targeting new zones of mineralization, and also kind of expanding some of the existing resource areas. And that made up about maybe a couple of thousand meters of the drilling, and then 3,000 meters went to geotechnical drilling, getting us ready for PFS and feasibility study.
Well, I feel like you've already alluded to it, but my next question, has it aligned with your expectations? It certainly sounds like it has. It's been a successful program.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, on the Lawyers project, as I said, that converting those inferred ounces was really positive, and it should have a good impact on the PFS. And then at Ranch, really that wasn't the objective there. It was more about testing some new targets, demonstrating what the upside is. And we actually earlier this week announced a new discovery at the Ranch project, the ring zone. It was a blind target. It shared all the same characteristics as the known zones of mineralization, though. And it had, I think the headline was about 13 meters of 1.3 grams, so not incredibly high grade. The hole underneath that had about 1 meter of just over 11 grams. So the combination of high grade and kind of broader zones certainly is very much in line with the other deposits there. So it just speaks to the upside that exists on the project.
You've just mentioned it, the PFS. Are you on track for 2025?
Very much so. I mean, we are going to commence the PFS in early December, I'd say. And that should see us completing in the latter part of 2025.
So can you potentially talk us through this decision to move to PFS and share some of the economics that the company is expecting?
One of the real advantages of this project is that, let me backtrack a little bit. In the PEA, there's about 3 million mineable ounces, and of that, only 10% of it was inferred. So it really we don't have to go back and do a 100,000 meter infill program to get ready for pre-feas and feasibility levels. So it's allowed us to kind of accelerate through to pre-feasibility, and really, in terms of like capital outlay, it's very beneficial for shareholders.
Obviously, the company's had several major milestones in recent months, but we do have to touch upon the receipt of a 5-year mining exploration permit. What does this mean for Thesis?
It really just gives us a lot of flexibility. I mean, I think we're in a very fortunate position where we have the ability to continue moving the project forward, continue de-risking it, moving towards PFS, beginning the permitting process, but also keep expanding on the work we've been doing at Ranch, where we have a resource base of 4.7 million ounces, but we've been making new discoveries. The resource zones are all open for growth. So I just see this very much as a kind of dual process moving forward, and it provides that flexibility over the next 5 years.
So just as a roundup, our investors like us to highlight some major milestones in the coming months.
Sure. I mean, there's going to be more drill results from the ranch project and through the remainder of this year. And then I think, yeah, as I said, the PFS is going to kick off in December, and we're going to begin the permitting process probably late Q1, early Q2 next year as well. So 2025 was a great year for, it will be a great year for Thesis.
Well, Ewan, thank you for spending some time with us today. We hope you enjoyed day 2 of our mining investment event, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great, thanks, Katie.